Good morning friends. Today I am going to explain what are Kepler's laws of planetary motion and the derivation of Kepler's laws. First law is every planet moves in an elliptical orbit around the sun being at one of its foci. This is called law of elliptical orbits. Okay, so what is the first law? Says that is all the planets move around the sun in an elliptical orbit and sun being one of its focusing point or foci. So that we have to prove. That is, to prove that one, we have to show that one the planets are moving in an elliptical orbit. Okay, in an ellipse. Okay, so this is the first law, and second law is what? The radius vector drawn from the sun to a planet sweeps out equal areas in equal interval of time. This is known as law of areas. That is, here the second law says that let us suppose a planet is moving from P to Q in dt seconds, then the area swept by the planet will be equal to the, if the planet is moved from Q to O in dt seconds, so that area and this area will be same. That is, equal areas swept out by the planet will be in equal intervals of times. So the other definition for this is, we have to prove that one, the aerial velocity of the planet around the sun is remains constant. So the to prove, for the verification of the second law, we have to prove that one, aerial velocity is constant. Now third law is the square of the period of the any planet is proportional to the cube of the semi major axis of its orbit. So this is called a law of periods or harmonic law. So we know that the ellipse is having a two axis, that is semi major axis and semi minor axis. Semi major axis is A. So here we have to prove that one, square of the time period is proportional to the semi cube of the semi major axis. This is the third law. So to prove this one, first of all we have to consider the first law. For the first law, verification of the Kepler's first law, consider the case of a planet of mass m rotating around a sun of mass m, capital letter M, in an orbit of radius small letter r. Then the acceleration of the planet towards the center of the sun will be minus gm by r square, and g is constant, m is constant, replaced by some single constant, that is mu minus mu by r square, where mu is equal to gm. So here generally we wrote the radial acceleration, that is the acceleration of the planet towards the sun. Here negative sign we have taken because the force is towards the center of the sun, so that's why we have to introduce the negative sign. Okay, now in polar coordinates, okay, in polar coordinate the radial acceleration is given by, the radial acceleration is equal to d square r by dt square minus r d theta by dt whole square. We have to remember this equation. Okay, so this radial acceleration is equal to the this acceleration minus gm by r square. So this equation and this equation we are equating. Okay, so that's why d square r by dt square minus r d theta by dt whole square is equal to minus mu by r square. Let us take this is equation number 1. Now multiplying equation 1 by r cube, we get, so both the sides we are going to multiply with the r cube, then r cube d square r by dt square minus r to the power of 4 d theta by dt whole square minus mu r. So r square already there, r cube we are multiplying, then r square get cancelled, then we will get r only. So let us take this is equation number 2. Now we also know that the transverse acceleration is 0. So radial acceleration we got this much. Okay, we have to remember this one. Now transverse acceleration is always 0, so that's why 1 by r is equal to t. This is also, we have to remember this equation, 1 by r d by dt of r square d theta by dt is equal to 0, but r square d theta by dt is some constant here. So this is all are constant, that is equal to constant, d theta by dt is equal to h by r square, we can write by this equation. Now substituting the value of d theta by dt value in equation number 2. So what is the equation number 2? This one. So in this equation d theta by dt is replaced by h by r square. So we will get r cube d square by d square by r d theta square minus r to the power of 4. Here in this equation we got r to the power of 4 d theta by dt whole square is whole square. So d theta by dt whole square is h square by r to the power of 4. So h square by r to the power of 4 is equal to minus mu r. Here this is already minus this is mu r we got. Next, r cube d square r by dt square minus h square. So r4 get cancel is equal to minus mu r. Now here we get r cube d square r by dt square minus h square is equal to, here mu value we are substituting. Mu value is what? Here mu is nothing but a gm. Okay, so just we are substituting the value of gm. So let us suppose this r, already we know that is r is equal to 1 by mu according to the this equations, this radial acceleration equations. Dr by dt is equal to, so differentiation of this equation is dr by dt is equal to minus 1 by u square du by dt. Okay, then dr by dt can be written as equal to 1 by u square d. So this term is can be written as du by d theta dot d theta by dt. Then d theta get cancelled, we will get the same value. So like that, only for our easy simplification we are writing du by d theta dot d theta by dt. Okay, so next here we know that r square d theta by dt is equal to h, or d theta by dt can be written as h by r square. Already we wrote this equation. So here we are replacing d theta by dt is h by r square. So that's why dr by d theta is equal to dt is equal to minus 1 by u square du by dt, as it is du by dt, and this term will be equal to h by r square. So dr by dt is equal to minus, so 1 by u square value we know that is 1 by u is r, 1 by u square is r square. So minus r square du by d theta dot h by r square. So r square is get cancelled. Then we will get dr by dt is equal to minus h du by dt. Next, differentiating with respect to t. So then you differentiate this equation, du square by r by dt square. So here we need the value for the this value d square by dr t square. For that value we are doing this all those calculations. So d square r by dt square is equal to minus h d by dt of du by dt. Okay, d theta. Okay, minus h d by dt. So this whole term is can be written as d by d theta, here d theta by dt. So again d theta get cancelled, then we will get the same value. Only for our easy simplification we are writing d by d theta dot du by d theta dot d theta by dt. Okay, so this can be written as minus h, so this can be d square u by d theta square dot d theta by dt is h by r square. We know this one. Okay, so as it is we wrote. Next, d square r by d theta square value is how much we got? Minus h square u square d square u by d theta square. So this value d square r by d theta square is substituting in equation number 3. Okay, this equation. So in equation number 3 we are substituting that value. So when you substitute that value, then we will get r cube minus h square u square d square u by d theta square minus h square is equal to minus gmr. So we know that r is nothing but a 1 by u. So in place of r cube 1 by u cube, and this is 1 by r. So simply we are substituting the value of r as 1 by u. Then we will cancel this u square and u square, only 1 u get. Then minus h square u dot d square u by d theta square minus h square is equal to minus gm by u. Okay, so now dividing whole equation by minus h square by u on both the sides. So when you divide this equation, we will get d square u by d theta square plus u is equal to gm by h square. Okay, let us take this is equation number 4. So the above equation is can be written as, so d square u by d theta square can be written as, if you remove this one, then d square u by d theta square u minus gm by h square, this term this total whole term. Okay, so and next plus u, this one again u minus g, this one is u minus gm by h square is equal to 0. So we can write this equation like this in this form. So next here this total term is equal to the, we know that gm by h square is constant, g is constant, m is constant, h is constant, so all are constant. So this can be written as d square u by d theta square, let u minus gm by h square is equal to p. Okay, so here u minus gm by h square is written as p. Okay, so now then equation number 4 can be written as, this equation can be written as d square by d theta square p whole is this equation, this can be written as d square p by d theta square plus p is equal to 0. Okay, this g, the solution of this equation is can be given as, so the differential equation solution is p is equal to c cos theta, where c is the constant. Now u minus gm by h square is can be written as is equal to c, so this u minus gm by h square is equal to p c cos theta. So next 1 by r is equal to gm by h square plus c cos theta. So just simply u value is we are substituting 1 by r. Okay, let us take that is equation number 5. This equation is similar to the equation of conic section. Conic means, and that is a figure which is formed or obtained by intersection of the plane and cone. So that is called a conic section. So we know that this is similar to the, this equation is similar to the conic section, that is 1 by r is equal to 1 plus epsilon cos theta by L, conic section equation here. Now comparing the equation number 5 and 6, we will get semi-lattice rectum is L is equal to, semi-lattice rectum is nothing but here, that is a square of the semi minor axis by semi major axis, and that L is equal to, here if you compare these two equation, we will get 1 by L is equal to gm by h square, or L is equal to h square by gm. So eccentricity of the conic section epsilon is equal to h square c by gm. So we know that eccentricity is nothing but epsilon by L is equal to c. This is the general definition. So epsilon is equal to lc. So L value is h square by gm dot c or into c. Now this can be shown to be the at less than shown to be less than 1. So the conic is ellipse. So the planet, it revolves the sun in an elliptical orbit which establishes the Kepler's first law. So by this equation we can show this eccentricity is less than 1. It means that is the planet is moves in an elliptical orbit. This is the verification of the first law. Now second law, for the second law, consider a planet moves in an arbitrary path pq. Okay, so this is moving in an arbitrary path pq around the sun. If the planet moves from p to q in dt seconds, the aerial velocity is given by, so in the second law we have to prove that one aerial velocity is equal to the constant. So aerial velocity will be equal to area swept by the planets s pq by, in how much time, that is dt times. So aerial velocity can be written as 1 by 2 r into r plus dr sin theta by d theta. So this can be written as here, writing sin theta d theta is approximately equal to d theta. So neglecting the values of dr d theta values, then we know that area of the triangle is nothing but a half into base into height. So this can be written as this total equation. This equation is can be written as here, base into height is equal to r 1 by 2 r square d theta by dt. So here r square d theta by dt is equal to h. Already we derived this equation. So by that equation we can write h by 2. So h is constant. So we can write aerial velocity is constant. So what is the second law? That is the aerial velocity of the planet is remains constant. So this shows that the aerial velocity of the planet is constant when a planet revolves around the sun. The radius vector joining the sun to the planet sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. This is the Kepler's second law. So what is the third law? That is, so according to the third law, that is square of the time period of the planet is proportional to the cube of the semi major axis of the ellipse. So that can be written as here, the time period of the revolution t is can be given as time period of the planet, that is area swept in one revolution by aerial velocity. So we know that area swept by the one planet one revolution is pi ab. We can write area of the ellipse with a and b as the semi major axis and semi minor axis, and aerial velocity already we know aerial velocity is remains constant. We proved that one here. This is h by 2 aerial velocity. So we can write aerial velocity h by 2. So here semi-lattice, we know that the semi-lattice rectum is b square by a, that is L. Semi-lattice rectum L is b square by a. So we can write we have derived that semi-lattice rectum b square by a can be written as h square by gm, and that is equal to the h square by mu. I can write gm is mu. So b square by a is equal to h square by mu, and h square is can be written as b square mu by a. So h is equal to b under root of mu by a. So t can be written as the first equation. T is pi a b by h by 2 is equal to 2 pi a b by h. I can write. Now this can be written as 2 pi a b by, so here b under root of mu by a, h value we are substituting this value in this equation. Then b get cancelled, then t is equal to 2 pi a by under root of mu a. Now this can be written as t square is equal to, this is the value of t. Now we need t square, that is square of the time period. So that's why e is equal to the 4 pi a square by mu by a we can write. Then t square is equal to, this is pi is constant, 4 is constant, mu is constant. So if you replace the constants, then we have to introduce the proportionality. So t square is proportional to a cube. So thus square of the period of revolution of a planet around the sun is proportional to the cube of semi-major axis. This is known as the Kepler's third law, or verification of the Kepler's third law. Thank you. For more videos, subscribe my channel Physics.